All right, guys, today's topic, how's everybody doing, first of all? But today's topic is going to be about fixing your credit or improving your credit because it's a system that not a lot of people know about. I happen to have a father that has been working in the credit industry for, I think, over 24 years. I've learned a lot myself and ways that you can pretty much use the system, I would say, not a bad way, but use the system to your advantage. So a couple things you want to focus on when it comes to the beginning parts of learning your credit. One, I recommend anytime you can using something like Credit Karma or something, just so you know what your score is. A lot of your credit cards will give it to you for free, and ways to improve it. So I'm going to make these ideas as simple as possible just to convey the message. And if you have more questions, put them in the comments and I can help you out. And I'll answer as quickly as I can. But credit scores are, in my opinion, they're not always the fairest way to judge. Well, I shouldn't even say almost aren't always. They are not the fairest way to judge somebody and how they are currently living their life. And what I mean by that is there could be two people that have very similar lives, very similar incomes, very similar everything, but their credit scores are completely opposite because there's small things they didn't know. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is I want you to think about helping your kids establish their credit. One, you can do things like having them at early ages. You'd have to check each state by state. I don't know exactly when you can put them on there for each state, but what you can do is you can put your kids on, let's say, your credit card as a co-signer or a co-owner of the card. It will establish some credit for them as long as you pay it off month to month. Perfect. You're already helping them establish credit even before they're 18 years old. Number two, you can put them on there, and what you can do is maybe to improve your score and their score. Let's say you owe $200 a month, maybe paying $125 in the 15th of the month, and then another 100 or 75. If you can pay more, it's always great, but pay more on the 30th or the 31st or if it's February, I guess 27th or 28th, but halfway through the month and at the end of the month, you will improve your score automatically because it's showing that you're able to pay those cards and you're paying it ahead of time. And then not only that, you're meeting your obligation, you're actually paying more. That will help your score as well. Now, another thing that will benefit you, and I'm not recommending this because I don't want to think that you should just go out there and willy-nilly just open anything you want. But if you open up a credit card and you know for a fact you're not going to use it, you can open a credit card and just leave it empty, because what's called credit utilization is a big aspect of your life and your credit. And the way it works, let's make it easy for you. So $1,000, let's say you have one credit card at $1,000. Okay, that's your limit. And you went out, you spend 500 of it. You are utilizing 50% of your total credit. $500 divided by 1,000, 50%. You're utilizing 50% of that credit. That is a big determining factor on how your score is impacted throughout your life. You want to usually keep it under 30 for it to really have a great benefit. Really under 10, you have a tremendous benefit. But in that same scenario, the way you can help yourself, though, is let's say now instead of you could pay it down. If you pay it down, $250 that month, you're down to $250 balance, and you have $1,000 limit still, you're only utilizing 25% of your credit. Now, another way to help yourself is if you want to, in the opening a new card scenario, let's say you now go and say, all right, I have still $500 and I only have $1,000 limit. I'm going to go ahead and open myself another credit card, and it's going to be another $1,000. So now you have $2,000 and you only have $500 on the one card. Your utilization automatically goes down to only 25%. 500 divided by 2,000, it's 4. So one fourth of it is only 25% utilization. By opening the new card and not spending anything, you now are utilizing less of your credit, showing one, it will improve your score immensely right out of the gate. But two, you will then be able to start establishing more credit for yourself, which then gives you the availability to keep being able to increase your limits. Now, I wouldn't recommend at all spending over and over and trying to keep swapping credit cards, things like that. But the less utilization you have on your card, the better your score will be. So the big key aspects are utilization 1, paying off your cards number 2. You want to make sure that you're not, missing payments, or I think you get up to 30 days to be late on a payment before it's really considered anything that will ding your credit. But the third thing you want to try and do for yourself is you don't want to max out your credit cards. If you do, and sometimes you come up with life situations you have to, one thing I would say is look at either Credit Karma or some other sites, maybe even do some research yourself, but you will see that a lot of credit cards offer something that's called a credit transfer, where you can take, let's say you had a credit card of $1,000, you spent $1,000, you couldn't pay it that month, and it's 20% interest. It's way too high. You shouldn't be paying that. Pay what you can, get the minimums down, and you can balance transfer. Let's say you had $800 left on it. You can balance transfer $800 over to a new card that will charge maybe 3 or 5% as a one-time transfer fee, but might give you a year or a year and a half of interest-free payments you can make. So you're not getting hit with all that interest. You're not losing money out on the credit cards. You're just transferring over the funds. Now, be careful with it. You don't want to just open up cards and be transferring nonstop because you may lose track of it. But it's kind of like an emergency scenario. If you're really stuck, look at another credit card and balance transfers as another way to, one, help you pay off some of those cards because you're paying zero interest. But 2, it'll also help your utilization because you have more credit that is available to you. Your line is higher and you're spending less. One other thing I would say for you is if you do get in a jam and you do the balance transfer and maybe you didn't do all of it, pay off your highest interest card first. I can't say it enough. I promise you that you will see how much quicker you're able to lower your debt by paying off your highest interest first. That goes across anything you really have, student loans, any kind of loan that you have. You want to pay off the highest interest first because that's charging you the most interest and you're losing out the most on that. Hope this helps, guys. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. I'll answer as many as I can. Take care.